Before we begin today's heartwarming love story, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another inspiring story of love, hope, and second chances. Every subscription helps us bring you more emotional stories that touch the heart. Now imagine a young woman with nothing left, except a promise she made to her late grandmother, and a lonely widowed father who has almost given up on finding happiness again. What happens when their lives unexpectedly cross paths will warm your heart and remind you that true love often begins with a single promise. Let's get started. Daniel Brooks had spent years living quietly in a small town outside Boston, Massachusetts, raising his 8-year-old daughter Lily after losing his wife to illness. He worked long days as a skilled carpenter, earning enough to keep food on the table, but never thinking much about his own happiness. One rainy afternoon, a young woman named Emily Carter arrived at his workshop holding a faded envelope. Her clothes were simple, and her eyes showed both exhaustion and determination. She introduced herself as the granddaughter of Margaret Carter, a woman Daniel had helped many years earlier when her family faced losing their farm. Emily explained that her grandmother had recently passed away and left one final request: repay every dollar Daniel had once lent them, no matter how long it took. Daniel gently pushed the envelope back toward her, saying he had never expected the money to be returned, because helping people was simply the right thing to do. Emily smiled sadly, but insisted that keeping her grandmother's promise was the only way she could honor her memory. Before Daniel could respond, little Lily ran into the workshop, hugged her father, and looked curiously at the stranger. Watching the lonely father and his sweet daughter together, Emily felt something unexpected stir in her heart. Though she had no idea how dramatically this meeting would soon change all of their lives, Emily lowered her eyes for a moment before softly saying, "I'll be your wife, but only if you promise me one thing." Daniel looked at her with quiet surprise and asked what she meant. She took a deep breath and replied, "Promise that this will never be a marriage built on pity or convenience. Treat me as your equal. Let Lily grow up surrounded by kindness, and if one day your heart never belongs to me, tell me the truth instead of pretending." Daniel nodded without hesitation and gave her his word. They married in a small church ceremony with only a few close neighbors present. At first, they were simply two people keeping a promise, but life slowly brought them closer. Emily filled the old farmhouse with laughter, home-cooked meals, and fresh flowers, while Lily quickly grew attached to her, calling her Mom for the very first time. Months passed, and Daniel realized he no longer saw Emily as someone who had helped his family. She had become the heart of it. On their first wedding anniversary, he took her back to the place where they first met, held her hands, and said, "Today I choose you, not because I need a wife, but because I truly love you." With tears in her eyes, Emily smiled and whispered, "I love you too."